Ravi was not a hero or a soldier. He was just a simple engineer from Earth who loved machines more than people. When Earth made contact with the Tyree species, he was chosen to join the peace mission because of his skill in building and fixing advanced technology. The Tyree were not like humans. They were tall, thin, and covered in smooth green scales. Their large black eyes had no whites, and their fingers were long and delicate. They spoke in musical tones that were hard for humans to understand. Even their cities looked strange, tall towers floating in the air, connected by glowing paths. At first, many humans were afraid of them. They thought the Tyree looked cold and emotionless. But Ravi didn't judge them by their looks. He found their designs and culture fascinating. He spent hours learning their tools, their systems, and their way of life. One day, during a large gathering in the capital of the Tyree world, the Tyree king made a surprising offer. He stood in front of both species and raised his hand in peace. To show our trust, the king said through a translator, "We offer the hand of our daughter in marriage. Let this bond between our two kinds bring lasting peace." The hall went silent. No one moved. Lyra, the king's daughter, stepped forward. She was like the others, tall and green-skinned, with large dark eyes. By human standards, she was not beautiful. She had no hair, no familiar expressions, and no smile. No one from the human side spoke. No one even looked her in the eye. Most took a small step back, hoping not to be chosen. But Ravi stepped forward. "I accept," he said in a clear voice. The Tyree watched in surprise. The humans whispered among themselves. Some laughed quietly. Others shook their heads. But Ravi didn't care. He had seen something in Lyra's eyes. Not beauty in the usual way, but a calm, deep kindness. She had helped him during the first days when he got lost in the city. She had shown him how to use their tools. Even though she didn't speak his language, she had never looked down on him. Later that evening, the human leaders pulled Ravi aside. "Are you sure about this?" they asked. "You don't have to do it. You can still step away. This is not a game." "I gave my word," Ravi said. "And I meant it." The next few days were busy. The wedding was prepared according to both Tyree and human traditions. A special place was built where both species could gather. Half of the room was warm and green lit for the Tyree. The other half was cool and bright for humans. Lyra remained quiet through most of it. She only looked at Ravi with soft curiosity. Ravi tried to talk to her, using simple words and hand signs. She would sometimes respond with a small tilt of her head or a blink. He slowly learned that those little movements were her way of showing emotion. On the day of the wedding, many people came. Some supported the union, but many just came to see what would happen. When Ravi stood beside Lyra at the center of the hall, the Tyree king placed a crystal band on his arm. Lyra placed a similar band on hers. When the two touched, the crystals lit up, glowing with a soft blue light. "That means the bond is real," one Tyree elder said. "Their minds are in harmony." The ceremony ended with quiet music. From both sides, there were no loud celebrations, no wild dancing, just silence, respect, and wonder. After the wedding, Ravi moved into the Tyree palace. He was given his own space, with tools and machines to work on. Lyra visited him often. She still didn't speak much, but she showed him new things each day: floating gardens, memory stones, and energy rivers deep under the palace. Ravi felt like a student again, learning something amazing every hour. Not everyone was happy. Some Tyree nobles whispered in corners. They said the human didn't belong, that he would leave once the excitement was over, that he married the princess for power. The humans back on Earth weren't much better. Messages came through the communication lines. News reports, interviews, even jokes. "The human who married the alien," they said. "He must be mad." But Ravi didn't care. He saw Lyra for who she was. She was not ugly. She was different, and different didn't mean bad. One evening, as they stood on a balcony watching the twin moons rise, Lyra finally spoke a full sentence in Ravi's language. "You are not like the others." Ravi smiled. "Neither are you." They stood in silence, the soft wind moving around them. The palace lights shimmered in the distance, and stars filled the sky. At that moment, Ravi felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. He had come to this world as a visitor. Now he was part of it. He had married someone the world called strange, but he knew she was special. What he didn't know was that their marriage would soon become the center of something much greater. Something that would shake not only two worlds, but many across the galaxy. But for now, they just watched the stars together. Ravi had only seen parts of Valen from the sky before his wedding. Now that he was living in the royal palace, he saw the world with new eyes. The sky was always violet, changing shades during the day. The suns moved across the sky in a slow, graceful dance. Tall towers floated in the air, connected by soft blue bridges made of light. Each morning, Ravi woke to the sound of soft tones from the palace walls. The sounds were a gentle way of sharing time in Tyree culture. There were no clocks, everything moved by sound and flow. Lyra came to his room daily. She never spoke much, but she always brought something new. One day, it was a clear stone that showed memories when touched. Another day, it was a plant that changed shape when it felt warmth. At first, Ravi felt lost. The way of life on Valen was nothing like Earth. There were no roads, no cars, no loud noise. People moved slowly and calmly. They spoke with signs, tones, and lights in their eyes. But Lyra helped him learn. They visited the floating gardens together. These gardens were held up by energy fields. Flowers of every shape floated freely in the air. Some looked like glass, others like flame. Ravi watched in silence as one flower gently opened when Lyra touched it. This one sings when it's happy, she said softly. It was one of the few full sentences she had spoken in his language. Ravi smiled. How do you know it's happy? Lyra paused, then placed his hand near the flower's stem. A faint hum passed through his fingers. You feel it, she said. Every day. Ravi tried to learn more about Lyra. He noticed small things, how she always turned toward the stars at night, how her eyes changed color when she was curious, how she always paused before entering any room, as if listening to something unseen. Ravi also wanted to do his part. He began working in the palace's energy hall. The systems there were ancient, but still active. He offered to help fix a few broken parts. The Tyree engineers were surprised, but they allowed him. At first, they watched him closely. They did not trust his tools or methods. But when one of the city's lower energy lines failed, Ravi fixed it in one hour using simple Earth technology. Word began to spread. The human prince was not lazy. He was useful. Still, not everyone liked him. Some of the Tyree nobles believed that Lyra had made a mistake. They said she had married a soft creature, someone from a young planet who knew nothing of their ways. They never said this to Ravi's face, but he felt it in their silence and cold glances. Lyra noticed too. One evening, she took Ravi to the Hall of Echoes, a quiet room under the palace where thoughts were shared without words. In the center was a large crystal shaped like a flame. When someone touched it, their feelings could be heard as music. Lyra touched it first. The room filled with slow, deep tones, steady and calm. Then Ravi touched it. The tones became warmer, brighter, and fast. Together, the sound became a smooth and peaceful song. Even if others don't see it, Lyra said. This crystal does. That night, something strange happened. A signal reached the palace. The outer guards had noticed strange movement near the edge of their sky zone. Dots had appeared on the radar, shapes moving just outside their border. The Tyree security team said it was just space dust or a lost cargo ship. But Ravi was not sure. He looked at the signal pattern. It was too clean, too regular. It was like someone was scanning the surface of Valen, slowly and silently. Ravi shared his thoughts with Lyra. She listened carefully, then nodded. I will speak to my father, she said. In the following days, strange events continued. A mining post near the ice rings lost power. A watchtower reported seeing a shadow pass over them, but no ship was found. Ravi asked to study the outer zone. The Tyree allowed it. They gave him access to old data. What he found surprised him. This was not the first time signals like this had come. 10 years ago, a similar pattern was seen. A research team disappeared soon after. Their case was never solved. Ravi felt a chill. Someone or something was watching Valen, and maybe watching him too. He went back to the palace and told Lyra everything. We have to be ready, he said. This might be more than a small event. Someone is looking for something. Lyra placed her hand on his. Then we will find out what it is. Together. That night, Ravi couldn't sleep. He stood by the window, looking up at the violet sky. A strange thought crossed his mind. What if the offer of marriage had not just been about peace? What if there was something hidden, something deeper behind? The bond between Earth and Valen, Ravi didn't have answers yet, but he knew one thing. He had not made a mistake by marrying Lyra. In fact, he had a feeling that his choice would soon matter more than anyone could imagine. The stars outside flickered. The wind sang gently through the palace walls, and somewhere, far beyond the sky, the watchers waited. A week had passed since the strange signals were last seen near Valen's sky. Life in the palace returned to normal, but Ravi could not stop thinking about it. He stayed up late studying old data and checking the sky through the tower lens. He knew something was coming. Lyra noticed his worry. She sat beside him during his work and watched the star maps with him. She didn't say much, but her presence made him feel calm. Then one evening, as the sky turned deep violet and the twin moons began to rise, a loud tone echoed through the palace. It was the emergency call. Everyone in the building stopped. Guards ran to their posts. Lights turned blue. A royal guard entered Ravi's chamber. His eyes were wide with fear. There is something above the capital, he said. It is not ours. Ravi rushed to the top tower with Lyra. From there, they saw it. A giant dark ship was floating above the clouds. It was not Tyri. It had no light, no sound, and no symbol. It looked like a shadow frozen in the sky. It moved slowly, almost like it was studying the planet. The Tyri defense teams powered their shields. Flying guards surrounded the ship. At a distance, messages were sent to the ship, but there was no reply. Not even a sound. Then, without warning, dozens of small drones came out from the bottom of the ship. They were round, black, and fast. They flew across the city, scanning buildings, streets, and fields. They did not shoot. They did not break anything. They just scanned and moved. Ravi looked closely through the tower lens. The drones were searching. They followed a pattern. Straight lines, wide circles, and then sudden stops. They're not attacking, Ravi said. They're looking for something. But what? Lyra asked softly. No one knew the answer. The king ordered the main energy shields to be raised. The sky above the capital turned gold as the city's shield came up. The drones bounced off and flew away. Some vanished into the sky. The dark ship stayed above for another hour. Then, as silently as it came, it turned and drifted back into space. The people of Valen were confused. Was it an attack or a test? Why had the ship come without warning and left without a fight? That night, the palace leaders held a meeting. Ravi and Lyra were invited to join. The room was filled with worry. Some nobles believed this was the start of war. Others said it was only a scout ship. Ravi stood and spoke. I studied the drone paths, he said. They moved toward places with high memory crystals. They scanned old buildings, the library towers, and the deep garden fields. They were not attacking. They were searching for history. The room fell silent. What are they looking for in our history? A noble asked. Ravi didn't answer. He didn't know for sure, but something deep inside him felt a strange pull. Later that night, Lyra came to Ravi's chamber. She brought with her an old crystal. It was dark green and shaped like a flame. This was my mother's, she said. It holds memories from before I was born. I think you should see it. She placed the crystal in the center of the room. A light formed above it, showing a memory scene. It was a vision of the old Tyri palace. Lyra's mother stood beside a young guard. They were talking about a visitor from the stars, someone who had brought a gift, a seed of light. Ravi stepped closer to the vision. The visitor in the memory was not a Tyri. He was human. He looked like someone from Earth, but the memory was from long ago. Is this real? Ravi asked. Yes. Lyra said, Our stories speak of a traveler from a water world. He gave us a gift and vanished. Some say he was from your planet." Ravi sat down. His mind was racing. The dark ship had come looking for something, and the only places it scanned were places where memories of this visitor still lived. He remembered something else. One of the crystal towers near the palace was built on top of an ancient chamber. It was always locked. No one had entered it for hundreds of years. "I need to go there," he said. "There might be something they want hidden inside." The next morning, Ravi and Lyra went to the base of the old tower. With the king's permission, they entered the lower chamber. It was cold and silent. The walls were filled with strange symbols, not Tyri writing, and not human either. At the center was a black stone. It pulsed with a faint blue light. Ravi stepped forward and touched it. The stone came to life. Light spread across the walls. A hidden door opened behind them, showing a staircase going down. Lyra looked at him in surprise. "No one else could open this," she said. Together, they went down into the secret chamber. There, they found something strange. A large room filled with floating crystals. Each one showed scenes of space, planets, and stars. In the center was a glowing ring, shaped like a door. A message appeared in the air. The words were clear and written in Earth language, "Seed bearer. You have returned." Ravi took a deep breath. He didn't understand what it meant yet. But one thing was now clear. The dark ship had not come by mistake. It had come for him. And the journey ahead was going to change everything. The hidden chamber was quiet, filled with a strange light that moved like mist. Ravi and Lyra stood in the center, surrounded by floating crystals that showed images of stars, planets, and shapes unknown to both of them. The glowing ring in the middle of the room pulsed slowly, like it was breathing. Ravi stared at the message above the ring. The words were still there, written in Earth's language, "Seed bearer, you have returned." Lyra stepped closer and looked at the symbols on the walls. She touched one of the crystals, and it changed shape. A soft sound filled the room, and a new image appeared. It showed a planet that looked very much like Earth. Blue oceans, green land, and white clouds. Ravi was confused. "How can this be here?" Lyra shook her head. "This is not Tyri design. We have no records of this place. It was sealed before my great-grandfather's time." Ravi moved toward the glowing ring. As he got closer, the ring became brighter. Symbols around it started moving in a circle. A soft voice came from the air, slow and gentle. "You carry the blood of the first senders. The seed flows in you." Ravi looked at Lyra. She was watching him with wide eyes. "I don't understand," Ravi said. "What is the seed?" The voice answered, "Long ago, humans were the first to walk among stars. Before memory was broken, they planted life across many worlds. The Tyri were one of the first to receive the gift. But time passed, and the truth was forgotten." Ravi stepped back. His mind was full of questions. "You're saying humans came here first? Before Tyri even began?" "Yes," the voice said. "You are a child of the seed bearers. You have the key. And now, the Watchers have seen. You're late." Lyra placed her hand on Ravi's. "The Watchers, do they mean the dark ship?" The voice grew quiet for a moment, then spoke again. "They seek the seed. They fear its return. They erase what they cannot control." Ravi remembered the drones, the way they scanned memory crystals, libraries, and old temples. The dark ship wasn't just scanning for knowledge. It was looking to destroy any sign of Earth's ancient past. Suddenly, a sharp sound came from Lyra's communicator. It was a short message from the palace guard. Another ship had appeared, smaller than the first, but heading toward the capital fast. Lyra turned to Ravi. "We have to go. This is not over." Before they left the chamber, Ravi touched the glowing ring. A small crystal broke free and floated to his hand. As he held it, the light inside it changed to a soft blue. "This will help," the voice said. "When the time comes, place it in the heart of truth." Ravi kept the crystal safe and followed Lyra up the stairs. Back at the palace, alarms were ringing again. The sky was filled with small defense ships moving toward the new threat. The Tyri king stood at the highest tower, watching everything. When Ravi and Lyra reached him, Ravi explained what they had seen and heard. The king listened without a word. Then he looked at his daughter. "We always believed our world began with fire and wind," the king said. "But it seems our roots are older than we knew." The new ship entered the sky zone quickly. It did not carry drones. Instead, it sent a single message, short and strange: "Return the seed, or the flame will fall." The palace leaders did not understand, but Ravi did. "They want the crystal," he said. "The one I just took." Lyra looked at the crystal Ravi now held in his hand. It was glowing brighter, as if it heard the message too. "We can't give it to them," Ravi said. "If they take it, they will erase everything, not just your history, but Earth's too." The king nodded. "Then we must protect it, but we cannot fight this alone." Ravi remembered the map he had seen in the hidden chamber: stars, pathways, and a flashing point deep in space. He believed that location held answers, maybe even allies. "We need to go there," he said. "The map showed a place. I think it's connected to all this. Maybe there's something we can use." Lyra agreed. She turned to her father. "Let me go with him. This is not just about Earth or Tyre. This is about the truth." The king looked at both of them. "Then you will take the Royal Scout ship, fast and hidden. You must leave before the Watchers return." Ravi and Lyra packed only what they needed. The crystal was placed in a safe box. The scout ship was prepared quietly. It was small, fast, and shaped like a silver wing. It could move without sound and hide in space shadows. Before leaving, Ravi stood in the palace garden and looked at the sky. He had come to this planet thinking he was just a visitor. Then he became part of a royal bond. Now, he was carrying something ancient, something dangerous and powerful. Lyra stood beside him. She did not wear a crown or dress like a princess. She wore a simple suit and carried a data tablet. But Ravi had never seen her look stronger. "You're ready?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "We face this together." The ship rose into the sky, passing the floating towers. The sky turned dark earlier than usual. Thick clouds rolled in from the north, heavy and full. A strange silence covered the city, as if the world was holding its breath. Ravi stood outside his workshop and looked up. "Storm is coming," he said. Nero stepped beside him. The wind had changed. It was strong and cold. Dust flew across the road. A newspaper spun through the air and hit a nearby tree. "Will it be dangerous?" Nero asked. "Maybe. We should get ready." They walked back inside. Ravi moved quickly, checking windows and placing tools in safe spots. Nero followed his lead. She helped him lift a few heavy boxes off the ground. Water might come in if the street flooded. He brought out a small battery light and tested it. A soft yellow glow filled the room. "This should keep us company if the power goes out," he said. Soon after, thunder shook the sky. The sound was deep and long. Then came the rain. First light, like drops dancing on the roof. Then louder, faster, like someone drumming hard on the world. The shop's lights flickered once. Then again. Then they went off. Ravi turned on the battery light. It gave the room a soft and peaceful glow. Outside, the rain covered everything. Roads disappeared underwater. Small plants bent in the wind. Nero stood near the window and watched. She had never seen a storm like this on Solari. Her home planet was calm, always balanced. Weather was controlled. Nature was silent. But here, the sky cried without reason. And yet, it felt honest. Ravi sat near the door with a cloth in his hand. He was wiping water that had started to slip. Under the frame, Nero joined him. "You don't seem scared," she said. "I've seen many storms," he answered. "They come and go, just like problems." Nero looked at him. His voice was steady. Like always, even in darkness, his face showed peace. "You always stay calm." "Not always," Ravi said. "But being calm helps others too." Suddenly, a loud sound echoed nearby. Something had crashed. Ravi stood up quickly and opened the door a little. A tree had fallen on the far side of the road. Its branches blocked a part of the street. Water rushed past it like a river. "We'll need to help tomorrow," he said. "Someone could get hurt." Nero nodded. She admired how he thought of others before himself. They sat near the worktable. Ravi brought a small radio powered by batteries. It played a soft tune, just enough to fill the silence. Neera listened carefully. The song had no words, but the music spoke to her in a quiet way. Later, someone knocked on the door. Ravi stood and opened it. It was Meera, holding a plastic bag over her head. "I didn't want to be alone during the storm," she said. Ravi welcomed her inside. Neera gave her a towel to dry off. "I brought some bread," Meera said, "and batteries." "Good timing," Ravi replied. The three of them sat together in the soft light. Meera looked at Neera. "You stayed long," she said. "Yes," Neera answered. "Still not going home?" "I don't know where home is anymore," Neera said quietly. Meera didn't respond right away. She looked at Ravi. He gave her a small nod. "She's not from here," he said. "But she's trying." Meera thought for a moment. Then she smiled. "Trying is enough." As the rain continued to fall, Ravi brought out some old books. They read small stories to pass the time. The world outside was wild, but inside the shop, it was warm and still. By midnight, the rain slowed. The wind became soft again. The sound of water running down the road remained. Ravi opened the door and looked outside. The street was wet and broken, but the worst had passed. Neera stood beside him. "Your world is full of storms," she said. Double quotes, "Yes, but we rebuild after them." She looked at his face. Wet hair stuck to his forehead. His eyes were tired but kind. "You don't give up easily," she said. "Never," Ravi replied. That night, Neera didn't send a report. She simply sat near the window, holding the wooden bird Ravi had once given her. She watched the sky clear slowly. Something inside her was changing. She could feel it. Morning arrived with clear skies. The storm had passed. Sunlight touched the wet streets. Trees moved gently in the breeze. People stepped out, checking their homes and cleaning the mess left behind. Ravi stood outside, helping a neighbor move a broken signboard. His hands were muddy, but he smiled. Helping others gave him peace. Neera watched from the doorway. She saw people working together. No one was alone. Everyone shared tools, food, and time. It was a picture she wanted to keep in her mind forever. Later, she helped Ravi clear the front of the shop. Water had entered but didn't damage much. They dried the floor and moved tools back into place. After lunch, Ravi climbed to the roof to fix the small solar panel. Neera followed from the top. She could see far. The city, the hills, the blue sky. She looked up at the stars still hidden. By daylight, somewhere beyond them, her home planet floated in silence. "Do you miss your home?" Ravi asked. "Yes," Neera said, "but not in the way I expected." Ravi wiped sweat from his forehead. "How was it there?" "Perfect," Neera said. "Everything in order. No storms, no pain. But also no songs, no surprises, no laughter." Ravi nodded. "Sounds peaceful. But maybe too quiet." Neera sat beside him. Her voice was soft. "There's something I must tell you," she said. He looked at her with calm eyes. "I'm not human," she continued. "I come from a planet called Solari. I was sent here to study humans, to understand your feelings." Ravi didn't speak right away. "I know," he said finally. Neera looked at him, surprised. "You knew?" "Not all of it," he said. "But I knew you were not like others. Still, you helped, you cared. That's what matters." Tears filled Neera's eyes. She wiped them quickly. "I wasn't supposed to feel anything. But now, I do. I feel too much." Ravi smiled. "That's the human way." She looked up at the sky again. "I will be called back soon. My people think I'm forgetting my mission. Are you?" he asked. "I don't know. Maybe I'm finding a new one." Ravi picked up a small old telescope from a box nearby. "My father gave me this," he said. "He told me to look up when I feel lost." He handed it to her. Neera looked through it. The sky seemed closer. The stars clearer. "Thank you," she said. Ravi looked at her with kind eyes. "No matter where you go," he said, "this place will always be here, and so will I." She held the telescope close to her heart. for the first time. She didn't feel like a stranger. She felt seen. She felt safe. She felt something she couldn't explain with logic. That evening, she sent a final report to Solari. I did not complete the mission as planned, she said. I did not just study humans. I live with them. I learned from them. And now, I am no longer the same. She ended the message and turned off the device. From the rooftop, she and Ravi watched the sunset behind the hills. The sky turned gold, then soft pink. Neera didn't know what tomorrow would bring. But right now, she knew one thing clearly. Her heart was no longer just her own. The city returned to normal life. People fixed their homes. Markets became busy again. Children played in the streets. But something felt different for Ravi. The shop was the same. The tools were the same. But there was an empty space where Neera used to stand. He still made tea. 4-2. He still looked toward the door each evening, hoping to see her walking in with that soft smile. But the chair beside him stayed empty. Neera visited often. She talked kindly, but never asked questions. She knew Ravi needed time. He worked harder. Now, helping others, he fixed more homes, built new benches, and planted small trees in broken gardens. People thanked him, but his heart still waited. At night, Ravi would climb to the rooftop. He would sit beside the small telescope Neera once used. He looked at the stars for hours. The wooden bird she loved still hung by the window, moving gently. In the wind, sometimes he whispered to the sky, "Where are you, Neera?" He never stopped hoping. One evening, many months later, a strange sound filled the air. It wasn't loud, just a soft hum, like music from a faraway place. Ravi looked up. The stars were clear. Then he saw a faint blue light in the sky, moving gently toward the hills. His heart beat faster. He ran outside and followed the light. His feet moved without thinking. He reached the old tree on the hill, the same place where he and Neera had shared quiet thoughts. The blue light stopped above the tree. Slowly, a small shape came down. It wasn't a big ship, just a small round pod, silver and smooth. It opened with a soft hiss, and then she stepped out. Neera. She looked the same, but her eyes were different. They held deep memories. She looked around, searching. Then her eyes met his. "Ravi," she said softly. He didn't speak. He only stepped forward and stood in front of her. "I remembered everything," she said. "They tried to take the memories, but my heart did not let go." Ravi's eyes filled with tears, but he smiled. "You came back, yes?" she said. "I told them I was not meant to be only a watcher. I told them I wanted to live with meaning. They did not understand, but they let me go." He touched her hand. It was warm and real. "Will you stay this time?" Neera looked at the sky for a moment, then back at him. "I will stay," she said. "As long as you are here, I am home." They walked back together, under the stars. The night felt alive with peace. The next morning, people gathered outside Ravi's shop. They saw Neera and smiled. No one asked questions. They only welcomed her with open hearts. Neera helped clean the shop. Just like before, she placed the wooden bird on the counter. She made tea for two. People came in and talked to her like she had never left. Neera hugged her and whispered, "I knew you'd come back." Days passed, then weeks. Ravi and Neera worked side by side. They planted a garden behind the shop. They added benches where people could sit and rest. Neera taught the children about stars and planets. She never said where she came from, but the children listened with wide eyes and called her Star Lady. One evening, Ravi and Neera sat under the old tree again. The sunset was soft. The air was cool. "This place," she said, "taught me love, kindness, and the meaning of being human." Ravi looked at her. "And you," he said, "taught us to look at the sky with wonder." She smiled. "I once thought I came here to study humans," she said. "But now I know I came here to feel." "And what do you feel now?" he asked. "I feel full," she whispered, "because my heart has found its place." They sat together, hand in hand, watching the stars rise again. The wind moved through the trees. The city lights blinked in the distance, and above them, in the quiet sky, a single star glowed brighter than the rest. Some say it was just a star. But Ravi knew better that it was a sign that some bonds are stronger than time, space, or memory. It was the star that returned.